What's up, folks? What's going on? Welcome to episode 283 of the Spun Today podcast, the only podcast that is anchored in writing but unlimited in scope. I'm your host, Tony Ortiz, and I appreciate you listening. I'm recording this intro with a very heavy heart. It's part of the reason why I haven't even released an episode in a bit over a month. My very good friend and Spun Today alumni, who's been on a few episodes of the Spun Today podcast, and particularly this podcast on the beach series that we would record, and that I've mentioned a bunch as well, because he's who I would do these cycling marathons with. My good friend Pablo Mosquera Jr. tragically, sadly, unexpectedly passed away on April 10th, 2025. And honestly, it's still surreal. It doesn't feel right. I guess deaths in general, and especially unexpected ones, probably never do. But it's really like the first time I'm going through a situation where I've lost someone this close to me. He was literally someone I would speak to every day, every other day max. The last time I saw him physically was when we did the Twin Lights ride, which I'm sure I recorded a podcast episode about. And that was the third marathon that we did last year. That was at the end of September. Such a shitty day, raining the entire time. We were both like miserable, but really happy that we got through it. And then we had signed up for the 5-borough, which was earlier this month in May 4th, if I'm not mistaken. And we both signed up for it. We planned on beginning to train for it like we normally do about a month before, or 5 to 6 weeks before. And then due to the weather, we spoke that week. We were like, if weather doesn't look good, maybe we'll just have to like reschedule for the following week and like up our miles by that much more, just so we're ready. Like we would normally like go out one weekend, do like 10 or 15 miles, then the next weekend 20 miles, then the one after that 25 to 30 miles, just to get ready for that 40-mile run that is the 5-borough. And that's the same weekend he wound up in the hospital and wound up passing within the week. And I feel like I'm always cognizant of death. Like I'm always worried about it, the death of a loved one or of myself, and leaving things undone. Like I literally have this coin on my desk here that I'm looking at right now. It's a Stoic coin that Ryan Holiday, the writer, sells. On one side, it says in, I believe, Latin, memento mori. And on the other side, the translation is, you could leave life right now. And I had this other quote as well, taped to one of my monitors, which is, quote, "One day you will wake up and there won't be any more time to do the things you've always wanted to do. So do it now," end quote. That's by Pablo Coelho, the writer of The Alchemist, and other books, obviously. But I say that to say that it's just still shocking. It still hurts. So for anyone going through something similar, or that will in the future, that feels that way, probably just is how it feels. It fucking sucks. And eventually just have to put one foot in front of the other, live your life as the person that passed surely would want you to. Honor them, think about them, speak about them, share their stories where you can. And that's kind of what I intend to do with the re-release of this episode here. So Pablo and I used to do this thing. We did it, I want to say 4, 5, 6 times, where each year in the summer, we would take an idle day out of the week off, like a random Tuesday or Wednesday, and take a day off from work and just go to the beach, Coney Island specifically. And I forget why we landed on Coney Island, why we even chose that. It's not like a great beach or anything like that, but it's just something that became somewhat of a tradition. And during one of those days, I had the idea of, let's just record a podcast while we're at the beach, just like 2 friends shooting the shit, talking about life. And that's what this episode is. And we recorded another one like a year or 2 later. This one specifically was first released in September 6th, 2018. And then either the year after or 2 years after that, We wound up recording another one, which I had planned to also re-release, but probably more near to or around his birthday, which is July 11th. But if you go in the archives of the podcast, you could probably listen to that episode as well. And I'll leave the original intro of the episode in. As I was listening back to it, it gives a good breakdown of like the origin of how we came up with the idea to do this. And I've been honestly procrastinating to even put this out, just because I knew I had to re-listen to the episode, and I thought it would be harder than it was, and it was hard. But I smiled a lot, I laughed a lot. It felt good hearing my friend, because I've found myself since he passed just like going to text him or going to forward him an Instagram post that we would do on a daily basis, just like send each other shit and laugh and joke around and argue politics. And then you got to come to terms with the fact all over again that he's not there. That is the part that really hurts. But then I think of the good times again. It puts a smile on my face. I think about the catchphrases that we would have, those inter-friendship dynamics that you have with friends, where there's a word or a phrase or a thing that only you two do, or not necessarily only you two, but that you guys do, that's like an inside joke type of thing, Like we would always say to each other when the other one is doing something that it was funnier when it wasn't something out of the ordinary, but if the person would say, oh, I went to dinner yesterday to, XYZ restaurant or whatever, or, oh yeah, I'm going on vacation to like South Carolina, like something that's not crazy. The other one would just say, must be nice. And in bike riding, for some reason, we started fist bumping, like when we would see each other from far away. And then that became like a fist bumping via text and saying the person's name, like Pablo, like cheering the person on. Like that became a thing. He would say the quirkiest things like, what really chaps my ass? When he was like mad about something. Or you over there palm pressing and chin wagging with the big wigs, huh? And like all those things just start like flooding back when I'm like, that's the type of shit that makes me smile. And we spoke about family in this episode. We spoke about traveling. I always admired the fact that he was like really well traveled, went to a bunch of different places. He spoke about in this episode a few of them, like going to Milan, going to Zurich, going to the Galapagos in Ecuador, and a few other spots, and tells a few like traveling stories. So that was cool to hear and listen to. It was always something that I admired and was happy for him that he got to experience in life. We also spoke about like first jobs that we had when we were younger. And I have to double check the date on a short story that I wrote called Pencil Case. It's on my website, spuntoday.com/short stories. It's in my book, Melted Cold. It's one of the short stories in that collection. But I mention what wound up being the origin story for that story, which is based on a true story. I mentioned that in this episode of how I used to like pack bags as a kid, and I saved up enough money to buy this really cool pencil case that I loved. And I actually mentioned that in this episode, so I wonder which came first, if I wrote the story first, or if having this conversation and in this episode like planted the seed to make me write that story later on. Something else interesting that happened in just going through like the grieving process is, at least for me, probably for most folks, I've gone through different phases in my life of, what happens after death, and, different thoughts. And is there an afterlife? Is there a heaven? Is there a hell? Is there, what's next? Nobody knows, right? But you believe what you believe, and nobody can know. But in an interesting way, I did have kind of like this reassurance that there is something, which felt comforting in a way. And I first got the feeling, I don't know if it was coincidence or what, but I have this velón, like this candle, lit up for him here at home, and I'd look over at it every once in a while when I'm thinking about him, and it just starts like flickering crazy. Like there was this one moment where it was just like shining like super bright, like flickering, and it just gave me like this feeling of, he's there, he's somewhere, there is something. And if that's the case, if that's accurate, I hope that he's watching and happy with the run that his Knicks are on, because he would be over the moon with them being in the Eastern Conference Finals. And I hope that from his vantage point of where he's at now, that it's still a significant and enjoyable thing to experience. And we both, before we jump into the original recording, folks, I just wanted to say, check in on your friends, check in on your loved ones, even the ones that you may feel don't need it as much, that seem fine. They might need you more than you know. And for any mutual friends or loved ones of Pablo that may come across this episode, I hope that hearing him and some of his story on this random day in the summer of 2018 brings you some solace as it did to me. Without further ado, here is the original intro to the episode first, which is about 5 minutes. If you guys want to skip over that, up to you. And then we jump right into the conversation with Pablo thereafter. Rest in peace, Pops. I love you, and you are absolutely missed. What up, folks? What's going on? Welcome to episode 107 of the Spun Today podcast. I actually grew up on 107th Avenue in Richmond Hill, Queens, New York. Episode 107 of the Spun Today podcast. I'm your host, Tony Ortiz. Thank you very much for listening. This is a special episode in which I am accompanied by a buddy of mine, Pablo. Pablo's a good friend of mine. I've known him for, I want to say somewhere around a decade, maybe a little less, a little bit more, like in the 8 to 12 year range or something like that. And I've most likely spoken about him in the past, or at least mentioned him in the past when speaking about the bike tours that I've done, like the Hudson Valley cycling tour or the 5-borough cycling tour. He's the friend that I normally do that with. Or rather, each time that I've done it has been with him. I definitely fell off from cycling this year, though. But I will redeem myself, and you can hold me to that, Pablo, if you're listening. And my word is as strong as oak. And not like Cushman. Oak. Real oak. Anyway, there's this sort of tradition that we started, I want to say 4, maybe 5 years ago, where we would play hooky from work, take like an idle Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday off in the middle of the week during the summer, and go to Coney Island beach and make a beach day out of it. You know, take some beer and liquor and just chill on the beach all day, and then get Nathan's for lunch in the original Nathan's there in Coney Island. And that's where they have the famous hot dog eating contest every 4th of July, which Pablo mentioned to me while we were there. And I feel like I knew that, but didn't really put 2 and 2 together type of thing. But yeah, it's a pretty dope spot, pretty iconic spot. It's like the broke man's Six Flags, Coney Island is, with the, as far as the theme park and stuff like that. The beach isn't the best, but it's definitely not the worst as far as New York is concerned. New York beaches, in my opinion, it's definitely a dope time. Anytime you get some R&R, it's a dope time. But anyway, this year we did not. We left it to the last minute, and we didn't take a specific day out of the week off, which we like to do because the beaches are less crowded. It's not as packed. And you pretty much have it to yourselves, type of thing, and it's on a day where you would otherwise be in front of a computer screen at work, going through the motions and shit. So it's a double positive. It feels like you're getting away with something when you do it that way, which I definitely plan to next year when we go again. We definitely gotta do it that way. But this year, since we left it last minute, we wound up just going on Monday, which was Labor Day. So, but to combat the whole, everybody goes to the beach on Labor Day type of thing, last of, official, unofficial day of the summer. Sorry about that. Last unofficial, official day of the summer, or whatever it is. We decided to go early. So we were there at the beach already, at 9:45, 10 o'clock. Already chilling, sitting down, drinking our first beers type of thing. And it was pretty dope. And we were there till I would say on the beach 1:30, 2 o'clock. got lunch there at Nathan's after we packed everything up, and it was a dope time. So this is just us chilling pretty much on our way to the beach, and the audio for that portion doesn't sound too great because we're in the car, so you hear kind of like the road a little bit and like the AC. So bear with us for like the first portion of the podcast, but once we get to the beach, and I took the mics with me, and the quality should sound pretty dope there. You have a little bit of background noise, but nothing major. It's pretty much just us chilling, catching up, shooting the shit, and that's pretty much it. So if you want to come along with us on a beach day in New York, stay tuned. So what do you think the odds are of us finding parking?
I don't know. You're right. I think it might be too late. But there's no traffic right now, so it's
a good sign.
That's a good sign.
You know what I was thinking about? Was it the first year we did this? Was it the same year as the Luna Park fiasco? Or was that the Luna Park was the second one?
No, it was the same year, because I think we would have noticed it was whack if we would have gone here before. We would have been like, nah. It was kind of like it was like our first time in Coney Island. You were like, let's get tickets ahead of time or whatever.
Yeah.
Did we buy tickets ahead of time? I don't remember.
I think we did. We bought like a whole fun day pass type shit.
That's why, because now it makes sense.
But I think we went to the beach once, and then the next year after that, we were like, oh, this was dope. Let's do it again next year. And then I came up with the brilliant idea of Coney Island,
Luna Park, Kitty Park.
Yeah. You know what I still have actually?
That was 2013. I remember.
Really?
Yeah, because I was thinking like Carolyn from LA.
Oh, okay.
Carolyn girl from LA.
Yeah.
That's how I remember.
I still have the.
Big sheets are not too bad.
The
side note.
I have the. Remember the Minion thing? We played a game or some shit.
Yeah.
And we won the Minions, and I have it in Aiden's room, like all those, like little teddy bears and shit.
Nice.
Yeah. So that was my takeaway from the day. But yeah, that shit was so. It was for kids.
Yeah, that time we parked. Was that the time that we kept feeding the meter? Because we parked it was during the week we both had off from work. Yeah. But the meters were running, so we had to go back every hour, 2 hours to feed the meter.
Yeah. But that's how it's been. A couple times we did that. I think like 2 or 3 times.
The time when we came with Steve, we had a parking lot.
Yeah, we went to the parking lot. Yeah. And I think one other time we went to the parking lot too, which we should do today unless we find a spot, because there's no meters and shit.
Yeah, we're gonna have to. Yeah.
Right? Today there's no meters. There shouldn't be any meters.
Coney Island. That hot dog stand's gonna be long as fuck.
Yeah. I forgot how this whole tradition thing I think came up because of you.
I don't know how it started.
I think it was that I said I never had Nathan's before. Like I don't know. We're talking about like the original Nathan's or some shit. You said let's make a beach day out of it.
Okay.
I think something like that. And it was just dope the first time around, like playing hooky from work and fucking.
Yeah, they made it much nicer. They put a lot of work into it. It used to be like a shithole.
Yeah.
Coney Island, yeah.
Oh, I thought you meant like Nathan's.
Nah, it's always been like that, I think.
Yeah. But yeah.
This weekend.
What did I do? I did do some. Oh, my sister-in-law's birthday was on Friday. We actually went to Cahoba, to Steven's restaurant.
How is it over there now?
It's cool. I haven't been there in months or years, but it's like he still has like that's what I asked him to like before I went, because I don't like all the clubbing and like lounge shit or whatever. Right. But he still has it as like a regular restaurant until he told me until like 11:30, but it was more like 10:30. Like the DJ sets up and then it just turns into like a full-fledged lounge type shit. Which is cool if that's what, if you're into whatever. Like there was already people there like anticipating that.
Yeah, see, I follow them on Instagram.
Yeah.
And I see always posting pictures. It looks like a full-fledged club in there.
Yeah, it's always packed.
They do like day parties on the weekends too, I think.
Yeah, like in the back he has like Betty Cody Biao bands and shit. It's pretty cool. But we went. The food was awesome. He has I think he like recently switched up the chef to like a chef that came from like a famous restaurant. Like I don't know if it's famous or whatever, but he said it was like a really good restaurant, Mama Sushi, or something like that. And he's the head chef of Gaoba now. And the food is banging. It was really good.
Nice. It looks good. There was pictures of the food of it.
Yeah.
That skirt steak with chimichurri sauce was amazing.
Yeah. I had that's why I had skirt steak.
It's good.
Yeah, it was really good. And I tried. What else did I try? Like somebody else had the mofongo de camarón, like the shrimp mofongo, which is really good. It was dope. And I know he does like brunches and stuff, or like popular, and like the bands play during the day, like on Sundays or whatever. I did that Friday, Saturday. Didn't do much. Had a doctor's appointment, ran errands.
Nice. Did I tell you I'm going out Giants game next Sunday?
Yeah, you did.
Week 1.
Nice. What do you think of Saquon? Is he really gonna be the truth? Is he really gonna be the next?
Supposed to be a beast.
What do they say? The next
I don't know.
Barry Sanders?
Yeah.
Is he the running back?
It's Barry Sanders. He kind of needs to be for them.
Yeah.
I don't know if he still got it.
And he's already like a media darling or whatever.
Yeah.
Nike sponsorship. It's like on the news. And...
Well, didn't he sign with The Rock?
Did he?
I think so. I think he's ROC.
Shut up. You know what was my first thought? Dwayne Johnson from Ballers, The Rock. I was like, wait, what?
Oh, Hope has got he's got his own agency.
Yeah,
right?
yeah, like the sports thing or whatever. What's with him? Like Cano was in it or is in it?
Yeah, so is Kevin Durant. There's a lot of people.
Nice.
His clientele's growing.
That's fucking sick.
Yeah.
He like branched out into like just a full-fledged mogul.
He had to sell his stake in the Nets to do it.
Yeah, I remember that. That's sick.
It is pretty sick.
What you think of 444? Really?
It was good, but it wasn't like.
Yeah, I liked it so much.
It wasn't my favorite. One of my favorites.
It was my second favorite. Next to I swear to God, next to Blueprint. Blueprint's my first.
No, the Black Album's better than 444.
I don't think so.
Okay.
I would have to go back and re-listen, but
my favorite are obviously the Blueprint, the Black Album, Reasonable Doubt.
True.
I've been hearing good things about Eminem's album.
It's sick. I have it if you want to hear it.
Yeah.
It's the shit with Eminem. Like I'm completely biased. Like the last album.
I heard the last one.
Got so dogged. Yeah, it was like under the radar, and it was like highly. It was a bad combination.
That shit's sick. Damn. Anyway, sorry. What were you saying?
No. It was a combination of being highly anticipated and like overhyped, and then like kind of like flopping. Well, quote unquote flopping, because he still goes fucking platinum. You know, Eminem could put a blank CD in there to go platinum.
Right. I heard that is it this album? I think it was this album where he was saying that he regrets criticizing Trump, coming out with that song bashing Trump.
Yeah, but he said that in the context of because that was one of the biggest criticisms that he got, saying that he's on his what is it, social justice warrior shit, and nobody likes woke Eminem, and they were calling him Marshall Thurgood Mathers or Thurgood Marshall or something like that. But then like some people are saying that they like when artists use their white privilege, quote unquote, to like combat racism and injustice and shit.
That's like Jamel Hill, even though she's not white. Jamel Hill, like they were called, because like when her and the other guy, Michael Smith, they moved from like they had their own little ESPN thing going.
Oh yeah.
They moved to SportsCenter, which is like ESPN's like number one
prime
show.
Time,
it's
like
the main news. It's like the 8:00 evening news,
Yeah.
But like how she's very political and she's like a social justice warrior too. 7A. So like the people kept calling it, instead of SportsCenter, Woke Center.
Yeah. And it's like a lot of people get like, I don't know, like sick of that shit or whatever, right?
Yeah, because I mean, you tune in something, especially a show like SportsCenter. I mean,
yeah,
kind of want to tune in just to,
for sports,
get the updates, get the highlights, what I missed, who won, who lost. Not like
politics is bleeding like too much into like everything else.
It worked perfectly on her other show, because that show was not really just like about the news. It was more like
a variety type.
It was more like opinion. Like SportsCenter's really not about opinion. Just give me what's
going on in sports.
Give me the results. Who won, who lost. Give me the highlights.
Yeah. But yeah, that was one of his biggest criticisms. And then the second biggest criticism that I kind of agree with, but I didn't think it was bad. But again, I'm biased. Everybody take this with a grain of salt. Is that he had a lot of pop features. He had his main singles was Beyonce. He had Pink on there. He had Ed Sheeran on there. So he had a lot of poppy songs.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then people that combated that criticism were like, yeah, but Eminem is a pop star. He's the most popular fucking rapper ever. He just happens to be one of the illest lyricists as well. You know what I mean? So you can't blame him for
pop songs.
Yeah. But this album was like a little heavier on the pop side.
Okay.
And it definitely wasn't his best work. I'll say that. But I liked it. I liked a bunch of songs on the album. But this one, he went back to my favorite version of Eminem, which is like Marshall Mathers LP 1 and 2 was kind of like that, and like the Eminem Show, more angry / cocky Eminem. I'm the illest at this shit. Nobody else could fuck with me. Right. He went back towards that direction with this album. And he didn't hype it. He dropped it. Nobody even knew he was coming out with an album. He even put it out as I decided not to overthink this one. That was his quote when he released the album or whatever. And he put it out, and it was sick. And it also goes back to what I really like in hip hop, which is the whole battling scene or whatever.
Yep.
And as long as it stays hip hop, it's that's the root of hip hop. That's the other shit. I watch a lot of I don't want to go I don't high level, but battle rap. There's a certain segment of battle rap that they even do pay-per-views for, and it's like UFC
really?
fights, yeah. And their quality of distribution and just the aesthetics of it is on next level. It's not grainy little VCR videos anymore. It's really good, really produced, really well. And it's they have a lot of popular dudes in battle rap. So I watched a lot of that. But anyway, in this album, Eminem goes. He mentioned Charlemagne because Charlemagne was a big critic of the last album. He goes at Drake, Machine Gun Kelly.
He goes at Charlemagne.
Yeah. And Charlemagne even said it. He was Eminem completely redeemed himself with this album, and even though he criticized me, I'm not gonna go back on what I said. The last album was whack, but this one is completely dope. Who else did he go at? Joe Budden he went at. Machine Gun Kelly, Drake, a few people, I forgot who else. 3 or 4 other people. Which is dope. It's going back to the essence of battle rap. And Charlemagne even said it. Somebody asked him, do you think any of them are gonna respond to him? They're like, nobody wants to win. Nobody's gonna respond.
Yeah, that's just dumb.
Yeah.
That's suicide.
Career suicide type shit. He's the only one that might do it, but he said he retired and he's on his more media type thing is Joe Budden. Which would be interesting, but aside from that, yeah, I like the fucking album.
Drake should respond. That'd be interesting.
Yeah. But if he didn't do it with he didn't respond back to Pusha T, he's not gonna go at him, I think. And it was a dope one-liner that M said. He goes to Drake. You know how Drake's thing or album or whatever is views from the 6.
Right.
Eminem said, yeah, you got views, but my views are higher. So when we talk about views, you get overlooked or some shit like that. Pretty sick, yo. We are arriving near Coney Island. Driving by the PJs right now with the windows up, doors locked. Looking for parking. You know what's dope? I actually saw on
Have you been to the New York Aquarium?
I never have. We always say every time we come, we say we're gonna go.
I went once years ago. It was dope. It's nice.
Must be nice.
Yeah.
Driving by the Cyclone right now.
The world's oldest roller coaster.
The world's oldest roller coaster. I was about to say I thought it was New York's oldest, but is it the world's?
Yeah. I mean, I think it's the country.
Nice.
Freaking made of wood. You couldn't pay me enough money to go on that.
I think we got whiplash. I think we
did go on it, right?
We did go on it.
Wow, I must have been high. Or drunk.
Yeah, or both.
I would never do that.
Oh man.
Is that a spot?
No parking time that way.
I got a Mini Cooper. I think I might be able to fit.
It is a spot. If you fit. Before like this green thing.
It is, right?
Yeah.
And where's Nathan's? You think we're close enough?
It's probably 2 blocks, 3 blocks maybe.
We're close enough, right?
Hell yeah.
Just bring the stuff back to the car and then go there, you know?
Yeah.
Let me see something.
What, the parking?
I want to see where Nathan's is.
Well, it's on the street. It can't be that far.
Can we park here?
It's not as far as that big ass building over there. It's before then, and that building is that far. Sweet.
This is a spot, right?
Yeah.
Should we get greedy and see if there's anything up there, or would you just take this spot?
I say just take this one.
Yeah, right. Let's not get greedy.
Look at all those cars double parked and shit. All right, folks, we're gonna hit the beach, get some vitamin D,
Shit, bro, we lucked out.
take some shots at Shiva's, drink some Oktoberfest Sam Adams, which must be from last year since we're not at October yet. Must have been brewed last year, I guess. And get some Nathan's at the world's. Is that the world's first Nathan's? The country's
Yes, sir,
first
it
Nathan's,
is.
the original.
Let's do this.
Then come back and record some more. Peace.
Hello?
Hello, Pablo.
Is this thing on?
This thing is on. This is a continuation. Spun Today podcast on the beach. Pablo and I are about 2 Oktoberfests in, on our 3rd, and 2 shots of Chivas in.
Shivas.
Feeling chill on Coney Island right now in Brooklyn. Looking at the beach. Chillaxing. And just shooting the shit.
Yep. The Cyclone is not a safe roller coaster.
We heard the cyclone behind us. I thought like there was a trash can, fucking, what's it called? The sanitation department was like rolling out like a big fucking bin behind us.
That's what it sounded like.
And we turned around and it was the cyclone just like making its regular rounds.
Maybe it's right around wooden tracks. There it is, right there.
I wonder if it
really does sound like a recycling. It sounds like a recycling machine.
It does.
Like a Stop and Shop, like, you know, when like you see like those weirdos, like, you know,
like changing the plastic bottles.
They got like
and shit.
You know, plastic bags bigger than them with like bottles in it.
Yeah. It's like rumbling. It's nuts.
I used to do that when I was a little kid. I think everybody did that when they were little, right? I don't know. Maybe they didn't. I did. You collect those bottles, and you'd get a couple dollars from it, you know. But when you're young, like that's what did you need money for? You just
part of the game.
You would get like a quarter water and a quarter chips, and you.
You know what? I didn't do that like going around, but I did that while I used to, when I was younger, like pack bags at the supermarket, and then bottles that I used to like drink and like stuff and like cans and stuff that I used to drink like while I was there packing bags, I would change that in the machine for like 25 cents or whatever, you know,
okay.
by end of day type of thing. But yeah, that was actually my first. I think my first like paid gig was at like fucking packing bags in the supermarket. My pops used to work at a supermarket.
Speaking about packing bags, did you hear about the dude from the Cosby Show? That they saw him he packs bags at a supermarket.
Who?
The guy from the Cosby Show.
Which one? There's like a few guys. There's a rapist. There's Jamal.
I think Jamal, the brother, the older brother.
No, Theo.
Yeah, Theo.
Hell no, I don't believe that.
Yeah.
He's in a show now. He's in
Well, it was a big thing.
Mr. Robot.
There was a big thing where like they saw him. They spotted him packing bags at a supermarket.
Like his own bags when he went grocery shopping type shit, or like
he works
for tips.
there, like packing bags.
Nah, I don't buy that at all.
Look it up. I'm saying, like, it was like a big thing, and like the bigger thing was the outcry. Like everybody was like shaming him for it. Like now, like you know, you can't do that now. So everybody was saying, no, it's an honorable job. Like you know, it shouldn't be about a fall from grace. It should be about like you know, just perseverance and
get the fuck out
working
of here.
hard.
I have to look that up.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was. Yeah, I'm like 90% sure that's who it was.
I would understand if it was like the kid from the Cosby Show that used to be like in love with Rudy, Stanley, I think his name was, that she used to call Bud all the time. That he was like, oh, my brother said that women shouldn't be treated equally as men because men are superior, like that type of shit.
Imagine he said that now.
He was beyond his time. No, I'm joking.
He'd be crucified on the spot.
Hell yeah. No, but I thought like I would say that just because I haven't like seen him like in anything else like since then. But like Theo from the Cosby Show, the brother, like he was literally in one of my current favorite shows, which is Mr. Robot. Like he's a reoccurring actor in that.
which whatever SAG pays for like minimum acting roles has to be way more than what you make packing bags.
I'm trying to look for it.
That's insane.
Yeah, Geoffrey Owens. Is that Theo?
No. He's Malcolm Jamal Warner. Malcolm Jamal Warner or Malcolm Jamal Warner.
The former Cosby Show star was snapped by a shopper working behind the counter.
Let me see.
Of a Trader Joe's in New Jersey.
Let me see his picture.
He played Elvin Thibodeau.
Elvin Thibodeau. Oh,
the young doctor who married into the Cosby family.
Yeah, he was one of the sisters of the Cosby Show, like the Cosby family. The Huxtables. He was one of the sisters' husbands.
Oh, well,
Elvin.
that guy.
I remember him. Yeah. That I could see more too because I'd never seen him. But Theo, like, it couldn't be.
Okay.
Like, he's in shit, you know.
Yeah, well, that dude, he got spotted. He packs bags at a Trader Joe's in Jersey.
Damn, that's sick.
Yeah.
Wow. Would you go to that Trader Joe's just to see him? Like, if you were a fan of the show?
I didn't even know who he was. I thought it was Theo. What do I know?
Oh, man. You know who I saw, there was like a similar story about was Boy Meets World. Remember the show Boy Meets World?
I've heard of it. I never saw it.
You serious?
Never saw it.
Where the fuck were you around TGIF times? Actually, like, chilling with girls and shit? Or, like, you were watching TV like the rest of us?
I was trying.
There was a character.
Oh my god, that's what it was called, right?
Yeah.
It was
Thank God it's Friday.
A Friday night lineup?
Yeah.
DJ, I remember
it's coming back, actually, on ABC.
Was that Channel 7? Yep.
Me and my wife were really excited about it because we saw the commercial for it saying TJF will return or whatever. And it's like something that was like popular like in our childhood. It had like Family Matters and like Step by Step and Boy Meets World and like a bunch of like different like shows or whatever. Like the main primetime shows were like they wanted to be TJF, you know, in that like lineup.
Okay.
And it's coming back like next month or some shit. But anyway, there was a character on Boy Meets World, which was a show that was on TJF, and he was a bartender in the city here in New York.
Really?
Yeah.
Good for him. You make good money.
Yeah, hell yeah. I used to bartend when I was younger.
Really?
I used to love that shit. Hell yeah. I used to bartend and wait tables.
Look at us like, what are they doing? How was it? You like bartending?
I did, actually, because it was at a time in my life when I had like zero bills, zero worries, zero anything. I was
yeah, but you make good money doing that too.
And you make good money. You know what I mean? Like it wasn't like it was like I was a junior.
Especially in Manhattan.
I was 16 when I started. I didn't work in Manhattan, but still made like dough though. But Manhattan was always like the people who work in Manhattan make like a shitload of money.
Where did you bartend?
In Jamaica, Queens, and in Mineola, Long Island. I worked in 2 places.
Portuguesa.
Yeah, the Portuguese restaurants. That's where I picked up little my Portuguese speak.
I dated a Portuguese girl from Mineola.
Yeah.
Did I tell you a story about her?
No, you
This is this past summer, beginning of the summer. So the girl I'm with now, we only dated a couple of months, but like at the beginning of the summer, I was hooking up with this Portuguese girl that I met online at one of the sites. I think it was Tinder.
Nice. Swipe right.
Yeah, I swiped right. She turned out to be a nut job. Check this out. Yeah. She's nuts, dude.
Shocker.
So what you call it? So we were dating. We dated for like a month and a half. Not even that long. So like I don't feel bad. Like I kept it real. After a month and a half, I was like, listen, I don't see this going anywhere. You know. So I was upfront with her. You know, I could have been a dick and like prolonged it for the whole summer, and been like whatever, and then like dropped her. But I was like, no. I was like, it's not nice. I was like, listen, I'm not feeling this. It's not going anywhere. She flipped out. She didn't like. She was just weird. Like she was very aggressive. And she's like, what do you mean? This and that. And she kept like texting me and all this stuff. It's like she was like one of those girls that like demands an explanation like for everything. And it's like sometimes like there's no explanation. It's just like it's just not
just
there.
is. It just is.
You know what I'm saying? And I get it. And listen, I've been dumb too, so I get it. You know, so I'm not trying to be here on a high horse. Like when a girl's like said to me, I'm not feeling it, I was like, all right, I get it. She's just not feeling it, you know? Like I'm not gonna sit there and be like, but why?
Whatever the explanation is, like it's not gonna help you.
Yeah, exactly.
You know,
so
like, it's not gonna help the relationship.
Yeah, sometimes there's no answer. It's not like a math equation, right? Where there's like, you know, like a final answer, you know?
True. Yeah.
So anyway, she couldn't understand it, and she was just like, but why? I was like, there is no why. You're asking the wrong question. It just is what it is, you know? I'm just not feeling it. You know, I wish I was, but I'm not. You know? And then so we stopped talking for like a month. right? And then this is my part. My bad on this one. So like a month later, like it was June 9th. I remember that because it was the Belmont Stakes, the last leg of the Triple Crown horse racing.
Gotcha.
So there's the Kentucky Derby, there's the Preakness Stakes, and then there's the Belmont Stakes.
Isn't it only called a Triple Crown like when somebody wins like all 3 races or some shit?
Well, all 3, yeah. Well, it's true, but it's still part of the Triple Crown. So like it's called the last. Like even if no one wins it, it's called the last leg.
There's still an
of
event
the
called Triple Crown.
Yeah.
Even if nobody.
All
wins
3 of them
all
are part of the Triple Crown. You know.
Gotcha. Okay.
You know, if you win the first 2, the Triple Crown is alive and well. It's open, right? But like if the horse doesn't win the first 2, then there really is no Triple Crown to be had.
So the events themselves are called Triple Crown.
They're called part of the Triple Crown, yeah.
And if somebody wins the first,
then you're a
2,
Triple Crown champion.
All 3 events, then they're
the Triple Crown champion.
Gotcha. Okay.
So it was the last leg of the Triple Crown, the Belmont Stakes, and it was up for grabs because the horse won the first 2. So we were live.
Nice. Okay.
Right? And he ended up winning the Triple Crown, but that's not the point of the story.
Nice.
She was at the Triple Crown with her friends, so she was like day drinking all day. I was out with my friends. I don't know where I was, but I was day drinking too. So I don't know. I fucked up. I texted her, which I shouldn't have, but
Drunk text?
Yeah,
No,
drunk text. Yeah, I was day drinking all day, and then she was at the Belmont. She's like, I'm at the Belmont. I've been drinking all day. I was like, we just started texting. I was like, why don't you come over and blah blah blah. One thing led to another. She comes over. You know, we hook up. And then, which made it worse, because the next day she was just like, she thought like we were back together, you know, like, you know, we worked things out.
Expectations go like back up.
Yeah, exactly. Which is, I get it.
It's like all the negative shit before like your races and
yeah. So I
that is your bad.
It's totally my bad. I'm not running from that. That was my bad.
Like going in, you have to like expect that.
Yeah, exactly.
Anticipate like that blow.
Yeah, yep. I threw it all in for the one night.
Yeah. Can't blame me for it either.
Yeah.
You know?
So then we hung out like one other time after that, right? We went to dinner, and then I was like, oh man, this sucks. Like nothing's changed. I know this is not gonna be a long-term thing, you know?
Yeah.
And then I end up meeting my girl, and so we're hanging out 4th of July weekend with my girl, right? We're up in Connecticut at her place, at her rooftop. She lives in like well, you know, those new construction buildings that have like rooftops with like, you know,
nice.
With like, you know, like lounges, like TVs, like, you know, barbecues, like, you know.
I don't know, but that sounds awesome.
If you don't know, now you know, right?
Nigga.
So yeah, like rooftop now, like if you like you know, these new construction buildings like have like sick rooftops, you know.
Is it in New York? Or
in
Jersey?
Connecticut.
Connecticut. Oh, okay.
Yeah, so we're hanging up there, right? And we take a picture. It was 4th of July, right? So we take a selfie. Just we were like, you know, we were drinking, we were just having fun, you know, just bullshitting. We're like, let's take a selfie. We take a selfie. Like an idiot, I post on Instagram, but I thought I had blocked the crazy Portuguese girl. I thought I blocked her, right?
She has to be Portuguese.
But she only cool, because that's how the whole story started. It was because you said Mineola.
Came full circle.
So I only blocked my you know, you know how the Instagram now has like the timeline, not the timeline, the stories.
Yeah.
So the stories and their posts. So when I blocked her, I only blocked the story, not the posts.
So she could still see like all your other shit.
Yeah, so she saw the post. So I posted the picture on Instagram. It's not even like that like crazy. It's like her kissing me on the cheek. So like honestly, you could be like, oh, that's your friend. You're just messing around, you know. It's not like, well, I mean, it's kind of borderline. Like, all right, that you're hooking up with that girl, but that's not even the point. She sees it. She starts texting me the whole night like a maniac.
Damn.
She was like, "Oh, well, that wasn't long. You found someone else real quick." Blah blah blah, like going off, calling me, texting me. I was like, "Oh my god!" And then this is the kicker: 11:45 at that night. This was like at 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock when I posted it. 11:45, she texts me. She's like, "Well, I hope you and Ruth." She knew her name. She's like, hoping you, Ruth, have a great time together.
Damn. She went in. She went digging into social medias.
But how the fuck does she know her name, right? I'm like, this is crazy. I'm like, how'd you know her name? She was like, oh, it just so happens to know that I'm hanging out tonight with my friends from Long Island. So Ruth is she's originally from Long Island but lives in Connecticut now, right? She grew up in Long Island.
Oh, shit.
Actually, she grew up in Flushing, Queens, but that's a different story for a different day.
For a future episode of the Spun Today podcast.
She went to the same grammar school, actually.
Oh, shit.
But then she like...
Did you know her back then?
No. She went to high school in Long Island and moved to Connecticut.
That's nuts.
So, I know this story's taking forever, but...
Take your time. Unlimited.
So
the beauty of podcast world.
Yep. So then she's like texting me like crazy. She's like, oh, I just happened to be in Long Island, hanging with my friends from Long Island, and they recognized her in the picture you posted, you know? this and that. She's like, oh, I'm gonna reach out to her and tell her that like me and you are together. All this. I'm like, yo, you're nuts. I'm like, we're not together. We haven't hooked up in weeks. Like, thank God I didn't hook up with her while I never hooked up with her while I was with Ruth. You know,
True.
So it was like she had nothing. I knew she had nothing on me, right? So the next morning, me and Ruth go to brunch. I'm like, I gotta tell, because this girl keeps blowing up my phone. I was like, this girl's nuts. She's gonna do something crazy. It's like, let me tell her. Let me get in front of this. Let me tell her, right?
That's true.
So I'm like,
That's
listen, just want you to know, I posted a picture of us last night. This girl is nuts. She knows you. Apparently, she knows you, some of your friends, so she knows who you are. She's gonna reach out to you. I have a feeling she's gonna reach out to you. Like 15, 20 minutes later, while we're at brunch, her phone blows up. It's her. It's the Portuguese girl hitting her up on Facebook Messenger.
How did she react? Your girl react like when you told her that she was gonna like when you told her about it, pretty much.
Put it this way. Thank God I told her ahead of time. You know how women are. Women just don't want to be blindsided.
Yeah, true.
You tell them ahead of time, no matter how bad it is.
They don't want to be like embarrassed about it.
It's a lot worse if they get blindsided.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So
True.
she was fine with it. She was like, oh my God. She was like, she just texted me asking me how long we've been dating, that me and Pablo just, broke up, and she wants closure, this and that. It was nuts, dude.
That's nuts.
It was insane. And then she just like, she was like, what do you want me to write back? I was like pissed off. She was like, I'm just going to write back saying, hey, we're just friends. We just linked up again after 15 years of not seeing each other, which is true.
Shit.
It's a crazy story how me and her got together. I'll tell you about that later. She was pretty much honest with her. And then Portuguese answered back. Like, she got calmed down. She's like, okay, thank you. I just wanted to know. I guess she just wanted to make sure that she wasn't being played the whole time, which she wasn't. Like, me and her met after. You know? But isn't that crazy? And I told all my friends about that, and even all my friends that are girls, like my friends, like my friend Kelly, my friend Jamie, even they said it. They were like, "Yo, that chick is nuts." It's like
she was a little like extra.
You guys dated for a month. It's not like you guys were married. It's not like you guys dated for a year, 2 years, married. Like, this girl's reaching out to people that you post pictures of on Facebook with or Instagram, and you dated for a month. That's nuts.
That's a little over the top.
My friend Kelly was like, "I would never do that."
That's a good friend. That does sound like a little insane.
I mean, it's one thing if we like dated like long term.
Not even. I mean, I guess it'll give you like some sort of like justification or some sort of.
Yeah, I mean, even
you can like rationalize it a little bit if you like dated with somebody for a long time.
Let's say you hang out with a girl for a month, right? Doesn't work out. You hook up once after that, but that's it. And then like a month later, you see her post a picture with some dude. You track that dude down and call him. We're like, why are you with her?
Yeah, exactly. That's like, dude, that's nuts.
You're embarrassing yourself. Like,
guys wouldn't do that shit.
Yeah, like you're embarrassing yourself. It's like you dated her for a month. It's not it's not even your ex-wife or anything.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's insane.
That's my Portuguese story.
Back to my Portuguese story. So I was in high school. I was like 16, and that's when I got my first like, I guess like official job after packing bags when I was like in 8th grade, 7th grade, like type shit. It was as a matter of fact, I packed bags when my dad used to work in a restaurant, in a supermarket, I mean. And he was like the manager of like the deli like area, whatever, the section. And I used to go with him on Saturdays. I remember when I was like in 2nd or 3rd grade. And I used to like pack bags like on like Saturdays, like through the summer, like type of thing I used to make. I think the most I made was enough to buy like a $14 or like $17 like pencil holder thing that I thought was the most awesome thing ever, like to go back to school. I still remember it. It was like, it kind of looked like a Trapper Keeper type of thing. Like, I had like that like plastic, but with like Velcro on it, and it like sealed, you know what I mean? And I had like buttons on it, and it shot open like different compartments that like came out like an eraser or like a little ruler or like a little. It was like dope. I love that thing. I remember I bought that, and then that was just like, little elementary school like side gigs or whatever. But when I was in junior high, I used to pack bags like on my own. Like, I went to like some random restaurant that a friend of mine in junior high, I went to 210 in Queens. He used to go to the pack bags after school, and I started going with him like on the regular, like after school every day for like a couple hours. And it was Compare Foods on like Liberty Avenue and on like the borderline of like Brooklyn and Queens. And I remember there I actually used to like make dough, like $15-$20 a day for like a kid in 7th, 8th grade.
That is dope.
Whatever. It was dough. I remember I bought my first pair of anything that I've ever bought myself, like clothes wise or whatever. It was a pair of Dolomite boots that were like in style back then, and I remember I bought myself those, and I think I like stopped after that. Like I stopped working after that.
Aww.
But like a quick side note, he actually showed me how to like rig payphones. Like if you put a clothespin on the side, like there was a payphone like right behind us, like where we used to pack bags.
Do payphones still exist?
I don't think so. Like very rarely, but there was like a.
We're talking about a dying thing.
I know, right? Bell Atlantic. What's
Bell Atlantic. That was old school.
There was like if you stick a clothespin into the payphone on the side, like where the key goes, like there's like a entry for like a key thing where the people I guess who worked on payphones.
I remember that. Yeah.
Used to like
Yep,
collect the money or whatever. If you stick a pincho, like a hair pincho thing that girls wear.
A hair clip.
A hair clip or whatever. But like
So Dominican.
the little metal ones. Yeah. The little metal ones you stick on the side in a certain way. Like he showed me. You fucking use the like where you put the receiver, the phone. Like you press it like 8 times, that's an 8. You press it once, that's a 0. You press it 9 times, that's a 9. And like we used to dial like that, like Morse code type shit, like sticking the pincho in the side to like DR. And I remember I called like DR a couple times, like from there.
Are you serious?
Yeah, for free. Like it would
I
work.
thought that was like an urban legend.
No,
that actually works.
It fucking works, bro. I swear to God, I don't even think there's landlines anymore that have like the receiver thing. But you could try it from home if you do have a landline. If you press like 7, you press
I don't
7
have
times.
A home phone. I have my cell phone.
You press, yeah, exactly.
You have a home phone?
It doesn't exist anymore. Nah, I actually have. I pay for a home phone because it's part of like the package.
Yeah.
But I don't have a physical like landline. But if you press like,
So you just pay for it and like just eat it because
yeah,
because
because it's part of the package.
So yeah.
So you get like internet, cable, and like landline.
It's still cheaper to have it with it, right?
Exactly. I should call them. Have cable and landline.
Yo, I gotta do a lot of work this week. Like my insurance went up. Like my AT&T bill went up. Like I gotta call Geico. I gotta call AT&T. My shit's like.
My Geico
they take advantage of you. I think if you don't speak up, they'll just keep charging you rates.
My Geico went up actually by like I think like $15 to $20.
Mine too.
I hit them up and they told me that rates for
New York, right?
In New York for medical and for like accident repair shit has gone up, so they had to do like a blanket like overhaul of everybody's like policies.
Okay, so it's not just me.
And it increased a bit. No, it's not just you.
Yeah, my thing went up.
My AT&T went up also, but I never hit them up. It went up like $5.
I gotta call
like $5
them.
or something
It's
like
ridiculous.
that. No.
It works too when you call them. Like you threaten to leave them, it works sometimes.
Yeah,
sometimes
true. It does.
That happened to me with like my American Express. I was just like doing like just calling all my credit cards, and I called them and I was just like, how much is my interest rate, by the way? I called them for something completely different, like, and I was like, oh, by the way, how much is my interest rate? They were like, they got all nervous. They're like, why? I'm like, well, they didn't say why, but you could tell they got nervous. They're like, oh, you're paying like whatever 20%. It's like, oh, but we could drop it down to 11%. Like they thought I was calling to like cancel the card because my interest rate was too high. They got so defensive. They're like, we could drop it to 11%. Then I was like, okay,
all right, do that. Sure.
Yes, please.
So then, what I was saying about that. All right, so I got the Dolomites or whatever. So that was like my, like first like on my own like job, like go getter like job type of thing. Mm-hmm. And then when I was 16 in high school, I was a freshman in high school, or sophomore, I think at that point, like the beginning of sophomore year, I got the job at the Portuguese restaurant, where that's where I learned to be like conversational and fucking like Portuguese, because I started like asking, you
speak good Portuguese?
I'm conversational. Like I wouldn't say good. I can't like write a book in Portuguese or something. You know what I mean? But I could.
You can talk.
I could pick up things and have
you can get by.
A choppy conversation. Exactly. Yeah. I could get by.
Have you been to Portugal?
No, never.
Oh, it's beautiful.
Always wanted to. Yeah, I have a friend that recently went. And like still, a couple people like I'm still in touch with from like back in those days. Like they go to Portugal like every year. Like I would go to like DR type of thing, So I started working at this Portuguese restaurant in Jamaica, Queens.
Which one?
Old Labradors, which is still there. And it was like a family style restaurant. What they called a bar side and like a dining room side. I used to work on the dining room side. I was 16 years old. I was the busboy is what I started as.
Okay.
And then I would help out on the bar side. Like I would tell them, like, you know, if you guys need help, you know, I want to go to like the other side and help. And it's literally like one wall, like dividing us. Like you can walk over from the other side. But they had it like separated, you know, like a dining room experience and a bar experience. And like as a kid, like I always looked older, so they were like, you know what, whatever. And legally in New York, you can serve liquor when you're 18, like even though you can't drink. Like you don't have to be 21 to drink. Yeah, it was back then. I don't know what it is now, but at 18 you can serve, you just can't drink. So, but by like, you know, 6 months in, I was already like working in the bar and like helping them out. Because I was just like willing to do the work, you know what I mean? They were like, all right, if you want to work for the same pay, like go ahead, you know. And I used to work on both sides, on the dining room side and the bartending side, and the bar side. And then eventually, like by the time I was like 17, 18 years old, I started bartending. I was bartending in the bar. Some days I was working in the dining room. Some days like on my own, as like I went from like busboy to like bartender and head waiter, and like I was on like both sides.
Moving up in the world.
Huh?
Moving up in the world.
And this is
you ever seen Coming to America? I just thought of that right now.
If anybody that's listening to this right now has not seen Coming to America, turn this off. You're not allowed to listen to this podcast. Like, of course.
I started on mop up duty just like you guys. Now I'm on fries.
I was Louis Anderson. You know that McDowell's, that they use that. I'm pretty sure. I don't know if this is like true or not, but I'm pretty sure that they use the McDonald's that's on Sutphin Boulevard and Jamaica Avenue. That's like right across the street from a Wendy's. I think that's the location that they used for the McDowell's, the fake McDowell's.
You mean the inside of it?
And the outside even. They showed like outside shots.
Boulevard. That was legit.
Yeah, Queens. Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Boulevard.
Queens Boulevard and Sutphin Boulevard, like where that like crosses, or like Queens Boulevard and Jamaica Avenue.
There's a McDonald's there?
There is, right across the street from Wendy's.
No,
I think that's what they used.
Elmhurst, the one by Queens Mall.
Really?
I'm pretty sure they did. Yeah.
Oh, okay, then I'm wrong.
I'm pretty sure they did. I told you when I was dating. Remember Kelly, my ex-girlfriend Kelly?
I remember the name.
She had friends from Europe that came in from England and visited us for like a weekend. The only thing they wanted to do was go to that McDowell's.
Get the fuck out.
Yeah, they were like, "Can we take a picture in front of it?" I was like, "It's a Wendy's now, but okay."
Get the fuck out.
We had to go one day, and I pulled up in front, and they wanted to like take pictures. We like literally took like it was like a tourist site, like it was like the World Trade Center or something. Like
Get the fuck out of it.
Yeah, they were like, that's the only thing they cared about. They're like, all right, we're done.
That's insane.
we got what we came here for.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yo, but back to the Portuguese story. So then I went from there to the person that was the manager of the restaurant section. He left to go work at a restaurant in Mineola. And then he took the guy that also was like above me, that like trained me. When he went over there, he called him, and then he wound up going over there also. So then that's where I like got bumped up to like, all right, now you're like the head, whatever. You were like the next in line, you know everything, whatever. Just like run the living room, the dining room type of thing. And then that guy called me and said, "Do you wanna come work in Mineola? You know, it's more money or whatever, blah blah." And I told him by that time I was like a junior or a senior in high school. And I was like a junior in high school, and I was like, "Listen, I don't have like any way of getting over there. You know, like I didn't like drive or you know what I mean. Taking the Long Island Railroad, like to me it was like a foreign land. You know, it's like Mineola, Long Island." I hadn't left Queens at that point, aside from like going to DR on like family vacations.
Yeah.
And he was like, he told me, which is something that like I'll always appreciate, and I always like attribute to like having like they say there's 3 kinds of people in your life that's like an angel that like comes by, whether it's like for a fleeting moment or for like a significant amount of time, but to like point you in a certain direction. And then there's a mirror, which is people that come into your life, you know, the same way, whether it be for a fleeting moment or for a longer amount of time, to like show you a mirror of what you either want to be or what you don't want to be. And the other one is a crystal ball type of person that shows you like what your future like could be type of thing. To me, he was like kind of like one of those like angels, like, yo, I could like hook you up at this point in time, like type of thing. And he told me, he was like, I live in Queens also. Like I could literally, if you find your way like to the restaurant, I'll take you home every night. Because my biggest thing was like, I'm 17 years old. My parents, you know, I'm going to tell them, oh, I'm going to go work in Long Island somewhere on, you know, while I'm still in high school. peace. Like, of course, they're gonna be like, hell no, what are you nuts? Like, what the fuck is Long Island? Like, they were like on the same page, like with me in terms of, that sounds crazy. You know what I mean? Like, you're in high school, finish your schoolwork, go to college type of thing. And he offered to like bring me back, and then like I sold my parents on that. The fact that I'll have a ride back every night. I'm not gonna be coming back at like 2 or 3 in the morning by myself, like on the train as a 17-year-old. Somebody's gonna drop me off in front of the house. And he used to do that. He offered to do that to me, and his name is George, by the way. George Nobre. Shout out to George Nobre. And he like brought me every single night after work.
Freestyle.
Like drove me to the house and dropped me off. And there in Mineola at Cafe Sport, which was the name of the place, I used to work Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, and Mondays. Friday after school. Mondays sometimes. It wasn't like every Monday, but it was like Mondays after school as well. And like Saturdays and Sundays, like all day. It was like a double shift. I literally used to make, just to go back to the whole like conversation of
FDNY just staring at us with the mics. They were like, "What is going on?
Like, what's going on?" Yeah, it's like podcast authority right here, buddy. Keep walking, buddy.
FDNY.
Whatchamacallit? Like, I used to make like in those like 4 days, like $600, $700, $800 a weekend.
That's awesome.
As a fucking 17-year-old kid.
That's money.
Tax-free, cash at the end of every night. The least I would make was like $500, which is still for 4 days worth of work as a fucking 17-year-old with no bill. My only bill was my cell phone.
You were kicking it.
You know what I mean? Like, it was like dope. It was like a amazing experience. And
you do a lot of money. Blow it? Did you blow it away or just save some?
I saved some. Like, back then is like when I got into like that's when like Fast and Furious came out, and I got into like the whole like car. Yeah.
You blew it.
I blew it into what we now call rice burners, which are like I had an Acura Integra LS that I like crashed into a phone pole.
Did you really?
I did, and like demolished it after I put like a bunch of money into it, like more money than the car's worth into it. And then
what happened?
From there, I remember I was on Bushwick. I was with my mother in the car.
Oh shit.
And there was like a white van like next to me, and the light's green. I'm driving, and I get in front of the white van. The white van hit me in the back, and I spun around, hit a light pole. The white van fled, like bounced, and I hit the light pole. And I remember like at the last second, like grabbing my mom, like putting my hand like in front of her to make sure like I don't know, like try to hold her, I guess.
Did she have her seatbelt on?
Yeah, she did. We both had our seatbelts on. She was completely fine. She was like in shock, I think, because she was like completely calm afterwards. I like banged my head on the steering wheel. The airbags came out. I have like a lump that I think I still have on my leg right now, just from like bouncing up and like hitting the steering wheel. And I had like a burn mark on my head, like from the steering wheel. Like the car was demolished. Like I had to like we towed it away and like junked it. And then from there, we were both fine. And then from there, I wound up like continuing to save up, and I bought another Integra GSR. And by the time I got it, like because like the whole thing with the whole like that whole like scene, like car scene, is like trying to build your car up to a certain point. And I wanted to have the car with the certain rims and the certain spoiler and the certain dropped. And like I didn't have my LS Integra, my 94 LS, I think it was. To that point, and then I got the 95 GSR that I bought after that, and then I built it up to that point where I wanted it. I had the spoiler, the leather interior, the rims that I wanted, which were like the GSR rims and the Type R wing and whatever. It was like exactly how I wanted it, but by that point I like outgrew like the whole scene, and I didn't want it anymore. And then I wound up selling the car, and I think I sold it for like $6,500 or like something like that.
That's not bad.
But still, like in that like world, like I'm pretty sure like I wasted like 10 or 15 like grand like on,
of course.
You know what I mean? Like I wasted more than I got out of it, but whatever. It was like part of the experience and shit. And like that's what I was into back then. So like everything that I had would like go to that, like buying a new like exhaust or like whatever, a new radio or yeah, exactly.
Anyway, I gotta take a piss.
All right, we'll pause this shit.
All right. Routines on the Boulevard of Linden. It's a Tribe Called Quest.
Holla.
Five Dog, Q-Tip.
Rest in peace, Five Thug. Q-Tip, keeping on.
So I'm distracted by this girl in front of us in her bikini.
I'm not. For the record.
Okay. You ever seen that movie? I just saw that movie, Beverly Hills Cop, the first one. You ever seen it? Remember?
It's a classic.
When Tiger's like a tight ass, you know.
Tiger's like
he's like a tight ass. They go to Eddie Murphy takes him to the strip club. He doesn't want to go, and then like the stripper comes over like dancing with them.
He's like, here, put this in her.
Yeah, and he was like, Tiger, don't be embarrassed if your dick's hard. It's supposed to be.
Oh shit.
Oh shit.
Oh man. What was I gonna ask you? Places you've traveled.
What about it?
I think we've come to terms with the fact, being here on the beach here in Coney Island in Brooklyn, that a beach is a beach is a beach.
I agree.
Besides that, tell me about like dope places that you've been to that you would recommend.
Zurich, Switzerland comes to mind right away.
Damn. Why?
It's just it's very, you know what it reminded me of? Like Transylvania. It reminds me like if vampires exist, they're in that city.
Damn.
You know?
That sounds sick.
Yeah. It's very
dope.
it's very like
Gothic-y
European, you know?
Celtic.
Yeah, Celtic. It's very cool though. It's such a cool city. And it's not as big as Paris, not as big as London. It's like a smaller a smaller version of those cities, but just as cool. Probably even cooler because it is smaller, because it is quainter, you know?
Nice.
It's cool. I liked it a lot. I loved Zurich. The food was good. The people were chill. Like, at night it got very gothic-y and like the water. You hear the bells.
The people were cool because they wanted to fucking bite your neck and kill you.
Like the fog. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like I really
quintessential like London fog type of thing.
I was like walking down the street. I thought like someone was gonna come like next to me with a raincoat and like suck my neck. You know, like a vampire. It's like those vampire movies.
Yeah.
It was just like that, but like it was cool.
That's sick.
But of course, besides that, like it came to mind when you said that. But of course, Amsterdam. Amsterdam is an amazing city. Like the best museum I've ever been to in my life is the Van Gogh Museum in Amsterdam.
Nice.
Yeah, I went to. So in the morning, like we went to get breakfast, and then we went to like the Heineken brewery, drank some Heinekens, polished a couple Heinekens, and went to like a pop bar, smoked some weed.
Nice.
And then we like walked around, then we ended up at the Van Gogh Museum, high as fuck, and it was just amazing. Like amazing. Look at all the.
Do you
paintings.
think it would have been just as amazing sober?
Probably not.
Being high is every experience, right?
I'm just being honest.
From eating a sundae to seeing a fucking Vincent Van Gogh museum.
They love American hip hop there.
Nice.
I remember being they're called cafes, like pop bars there. And
what's the thing, real quick? Cafes are the ones that have pot.
Coffee shop.
Coffee shops have pot. Cafes don't have pot.
Yeah, cafes like an actual cafe.
Right? Yeah,
coffee shops are the pop bars. And I walk into one. They're just like blasting Tupac. Like they love Tupac. They were just like pumping
It's on some next level.
While I ride on my enemies. And I was just like, what? Do you even know whose enemies are? They love like Tupac. And like we're just hanging out, just smoking weed, chilling. It's like they sell weed like joints like in a pack of cigarettes like here. It's crazy. So that was fun. Amsterdam was great. The food was amazing. The food in Amsterdam is on par with New York.
Nice.
As far as like it's a very cultural, ethnic city where like you go down the street, you can have like, what do you want? You want Brazilian? Do you want Italian? Do you want like Chinese? Like whatever kind of food you want, they got.
Oh, that's cool. They got like a lot of.
It's like New York in that sense, Like what do you want to get tonight? Like it's like I don't even know if I had Dutch food. I don't even know what Dutch food is, but like. I had like amazing Greek food that night, one night, and another night I had like an amazing Italian dinner. Like they have really good like ethnic food from other countries. I don't think I ever had Dutch food.
That's cool.
Yeah,
it's cool to have that variety.
Yeah. Where else would I say was fun? Chicago, obviously. I love Chicago. I mean, Paris was great too. Like if we're talking about overseas, I've been to Europe a lot. Paris was great. Paris is like cool. Paris is like. How do I explain Paris? Paris is like...
It gets a lot of shit.
It does get a lot of shit.
Like out of every
I've never
place?
had like a snooty response. Like people, I know people. Like, it's got a bad rap about being snooty to Americans.
Yeah, and dirty and like grimy and like.
No, are you kidding me? It's the opposite.
Really?
Yeah, I mean, maybe compared to other cities, like. Dude, like we grew up in New York. New York is a dirty city. Like,
Yeah, exactly.
When you travel the world, like one thing you'll realize quickly is how dirty New York is compared to other cities. It's a very dirty city. Like, like the subways are dirty, like the streets are dirty, like it's different. Like Paris was cool, like not on that level, but like every building is like really nice. Like the post office, like this amazing architectural masterpiece, Like,
Yeah.
It's also because they've had to rebuild the whole city after World War II when Nazi Germany invaded it. It destroyed the city. So it's very old in nature, but it's also very new because they had to rebuild the whole city after the 1940s. So that I think helped what it looks like now,
Yeah, like the aesthetics.
Yeah,
Of it.
exactly. So it's much more modern than it should be, I guess, given how old that city is.
Yeah.
But yes, Paris was cool. I loved Paris.
Nice.
But yeah, the only like European city I've been to that was dirty like New York was Milan. When I went to Milan, I remember riding the subway there. It was like graffiti on the wall.
Damn,
I was like,
1980s New York.
Yeah, it was like New York. I was like, damn, this is grimy. This is grimier than New York.
Damn.
Yeah. But where else? I love. Obviously, when I went down to Galapagos in Ecuador, that was awesome too.
You went there?
Yep.
Damn.
Beautiful. Very, very like worth working. You should.
Is there like an area there that's like preserved from like fucking who was it?
Charles Darwin.
Darwin times.
Yep. Absolutely. There's it's really cool. It's like a couple island chains.
That's where like Charles Darwin came up with the theory of like evolution type of thing.
His book Origin of Species he wrote there.
Damn.
Yeah, he came up with the theory of evolution there because of the animals that he saw on Galapagos Island were so completely different from every other animal in like mainland South America. You know what I mean?
Yeah. That's so sick.
Yeah.
How like seeing something could like take your mind in a direction that's like completely different from like what you're used to.
Yep.
And just like open up like a neural pathway towards like something that like transcends time.
Yep.
You know what I mean? That we're still talking about like right now.
Yep.
That's nuts.
He came up with that.
He started like
it's
a whole
crazy.
like branch of science just from what he visually saw in Ecuador at the Galapagos Islands.
Yeah.
Like,
Think about it, like the theory of evolution, like
That's
that
crazy.
totally goes against like the whole theory of like the
any religion,
the Christian church,
dogma,
Adam and Eve,
Yeah. That's nuts.
And it came from like a Latin American country that's like all of Latin America is very Catholic, very conservative Catholic.
Yeah,
so it's like kind of
sure.
ironic that like it came from one of those countries,
Shout out to Ecuador.
Yeah,
Pablo's a little biased being Ecuadorian, but we'll take it.
almost. So
That's awesome.
yeah, it was pretty cool. Like Ecuador is really nice too. I like Ecuador. It's kind of very modern now too.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Nice.
I haven't been there in years, but actually, did I tell you we're having a family reunion next month in Bayside? All my uncles, my aunts, my cousins from Ecuador are coming up.
That's awesome.
It's crazy how much
Is it like the first time for like some of them?
for a lot of them.
Wow.
It's funny you say that because it's so crazy. Growing up when I was younger, when I was in like grammar school, high school, whatever, none of them would ever come up. We'd always go down there.
Yeah.
But now the game has
Like
changed. Like
they are.
they're making more money there, I guess, and for whatever reason, like
They're like able to like.
yeah,
come
they're
here
able
now.
to come up here now. Like before, they weren't able to come up. Now, like they come up here. Like honestly, my parents are hosting someone from Ecuador at least every other month.
That's awesome.
It's like so many people come up here now.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, they come up here, and also because my cousins down there are doing very well for themselves. My uncle owns his own business down there. He's doing very well, and it's like a huge business. He employs pretty much the whole family.
Nice.
Yeah, they're all doing very well. Like they come up here, like they go to like the malls, they go to the outlets, they go to like honestly they go in the Apple store. They come out with like boatloads of Apple products.
Yeah.
iPads, iPhones, MacBooks.
It's like shit that you don't even buy. But
Yeah,
like,
I'm just like, damn, I can't even afford that.
That's awesome. Man. That's
yeah,
fucking cool.
yeah, because it's so much more expensive down there,
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, they're doing good. So look at that boat. Look how packed that shit is.
Damn.
But anyway, yeah, they're all coming up.
It's like the third one that we see like that, like
Yeah?
packed, like rim to rim.
It's like a party boat.
Labor Day weekend,
Hurrah to the summer.
balls to the wall.
What about you? Where's the craziest place you've ever traveled?
In terms of crazy,
Or just like unique or just different or that stood out?
like the most different place for me was what I was telling you before, the Costa Rica.
Costa Rica?
trip.
Okay.
That was like the dopest, like my favorite vacation ever that I've ever taken. Did like whitewater rafting, snorkeling, zip lining, a tour of like a national park, and that was pretty sick. Besides that, it's just like Florida, DR.
Have you ever been outside of the Western Hemisphere?
Yeah, to India. But
Oh, that's right.
It was for work. I've been there 3 times.
That must have been a culture shock.
Yeah, it was.
That's
But you know what? It was, but it wasn't. Like I did a couple episodes. Like I did I think like 3 or 4 episodes about India on the podcast, and it was pretty much pointing out how any place outside of the U.S., at least for me and like my experience, is very similar. Like Costa Rica reminded me of DR. India reminded me of Costa Rica. Like every like third world type country like experience, like everything outside of the U.S., outside of New York, like felt the same to me. Like
Really?
there was something like homogenous about it. Like I don't know if it's the poverty or like
There's a lot of poverty in India.
there is, yeah. But it's just like in terms of like the architecture and just like the city like facilities and stuff like that. Like I can see DR in India. I can see Costa Rica in DR. I can see India in Costa Rica. You know what I mean? Like a lot of the shit is like the cement buildings, the colmados, the corner stores, it like all look the same to me. And all very different from New York. Like
Interesting.
equally different from New York. That's something that I definitely like took away from it, but it was definitely a cool experience.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I've never been to India. I told you I want to go to Asia. Like
Yeah.
it's hard though. Like it's hard to like go with, you know. Like you
People that actually
you can always
wanna
go
go.
yourself, but like I hate traveling by myself. I get bored easily. I need to like not bored, lonely easy.
Yeah.
So like I need someone to like talk to.
Yeah. I can't imagine. Like the closest to traveling by myself was like literally going to India. Like when I went to like India through, I've gone 3 times. 2 times were through Abu Dhabi, and 1 time was through England. And the time I went through England was literally by myself. Like the other 2 times I went with like at least 1 or 2 coworkers. And but the time through England was by myself, and there's like a lot of alone time like when you're there. And you know, it's like coworkers, it's not like your boys or anything like that, so it's like a different type of vibe and experience, like regardless.
Well, I told you, I spent the night in Paris by myself.
Really?
Yeah, my last night in Paris, I was by myself because everybody like left and everybody had a flight the day before. But so I had like my flight the next day, so I had to stay for that night.
How was
Awesome night.
that? Really?
Yeah.
Nice.
I ended up like going down to the hotel. Can you recommend a good hotel, like not touristy, like something offbeat, you know?
Yeah.
He recommended this place, was really good, like really authentic French food. It was like steak Bordeaux, like in like French wine sauce. It was really good with like a side, like I think it was like a rice side. It was really good.
Nice.
And then I'm like walking around. I was like, I don't want to go home. I don't want to go back to my hotel room yet. It's like 9 o'clock at night. I'm bored, you know. Like I want to go out. I'm in my last night in Paris, and I'm gonna sit in my hotel room, you know.
Yeah, true.
Walking around. I was like, let me find a bar or something. I have a drink. A couple bars I passed by, but like really packed. I was like, I need something a little more, like, you know, low key, where I don't feel weird being by myself, you know. So I found this bar. It was like you know, like a regular, like, you know, neighborhood bar. I was like, all right, this place is cool. A couple of people at the bar. I was like, all right, I can post up here. I walk in, order a drink at the bar, chill, like, you know, laid back local bar. Right off the bat, I know the guy's talking to me in English. I'm like, oh, this guy's American. I was like, you're American? He was like, yeah. I'm like, you too? He's like, yeah. He's like, where are you from? I'm like, I'm from Queens. He starts laughing. He's like, I'm from Brooklyn.
Damn.
Yeah, so we just hit it off. We hit it off. We started like, BSing the whole night. He's buying me drinks, shots, chilling. Then he's like, yo, my boys are coming from New Jersey. We're gonna close the bar down and just hang out. We're gonna probably hit up an after hour spot if you want to come. I was like, yeah, why not? Like, they were cool. We hung out with all of them. We went to some like really, really cool after hour spot. We met some girls. I met some girl from Jersey that night. I remember we hooked up a couple times back here in the States.
Damn.
Like
nice.
like weeks later, we hung out for like another month after that. She was cool. She had a nice body.
She was from Queens?
Side note, no, she was from Jersey.
Nice.
She was from like Long Branch, New Jersey, I think. So yeah, that was a crazy night. Just crazy how you get into things, It was like
awesome,
so
yeah.
unexpected. Like that would have never happened if I went back to my hotel room,
Sure.
I would
And
never
just stayed there and
yeah.
like rented a movie type of thing.
Yep. I ended up hanging out with this girl. Ended up hanging out with her, like, and that summer back in New York. She was cool.
It's a good summer.
It was a very good summer.
And here we are in Brooklyn, taking in the Coney Island sun.
We should go on a jet ski.
That shit would be sick.
Yeah, that would be sick.
They don't rent them here.
They don't, right?
I don't think so. That would be so fucking fun. I haven't done that since South Beach. Fucking
What? Jet skiing?
03, 04, 05, something like that.
Where'd you get that thing?
The cooler?
No, the
MP3 player?
yeah.
The Roland RS05, I think it is. Like the model or whatever. Just ordered it online. When I was doing my podcast research before starting the Spun Today podcast about 3.5, 4 years ago. That was one of the top MP3 players to order, and I ordered that one.
So you just plug it into your
Plug it into the computer, upload the MP3 file, do a little editing to take out like the dead air type of thing.
Okay. What does that tattoo mean?
What I was, what I am, what I will be. God's project. Before,
Okay.
I always say this caveat. Before, there was a Aventura CD that came out called God's Project. That was the title of the album. It was before the album came out.
Okay.
But I did get the idea from them because at the end of the previous album, before that album, they had like a skit talking about, like the group and how they came together, and a lot of people don't know we've been, doing this for like 10 years already, whatever, blah, blah. That's like when they became popular. And they were like, it's like God's project or whatever. God's project, God's project.
I like that.
And it
God's
like faded out. And then from there, I was like, oh shit, that'll be a dope, like what I was, what I am, what I will be. And then add God's project to the end of it. And,
That is pretty dope.
And then they came out, their next album after that, they titled it God's Project. I was like, oh fuck. Just seemed like
They're from
mad cliche.
They're from New York or
the
from
Bronx.
Dominican?
New
They're
York.
from the Bronx?
Yeah. They're Dominican. and
I know that.
the main singer is actually half Puerto Rican. Anthony Romeo.
Romeo, yeah.
He's half Dominican, half Puerto Rican. And then
Dime al amor.
the rest of the people on the band are Dominican.
This guy at my job loves to play that song.
Really?
Yeah.
Nice.
I think he's gay.
Who, Romeo?
No, the
Oh,
guy
the
at my
dude from
job.
the Yeah.
I think he's bisexual, actually. I think he's a switch hitter.
Yeah. Plays both sides.
Yeah. Both has a plate. He makes comments, and he's always very well dressed, like very well dressed.
Yeah. Like over the top, like.
yeah,
Like this is
that.
better than GQ status,
Yeah,
bro. Like,
yeah,
what are you
oh,
looking
yeah.
at?
He's always
Like-
sharp, like not a wrinkle on him, like
Dang.
shirt wise, like pants wise.
Yeah.
No, there's anything wrong
the
with that.
Aventura guys are like second generation Americans, like or first generation American coming from like Dominican and Puerto Rican background.
Okay.
Mainly Dominican though.
You still go to that barber shop on what was it, Liberty Avenue?
On Jamaica Avenue. Since high school, same barbershop I've been going to.
I went there one time. Remember I told
Yeah?
you? Yeah. I think I had like an emergency that night, like where I had to go. I think I had a party or something, and
Yeah.
my barber was like closed or something. I think it was like a Jewish holiday.
You have a Jewish barber?
Yeah, he's a Russian Jew.
Ah.
Yeah. So I think it was like a Jewish holiday. I think it was Shabbat. I don't know what it was.
Yeah.
And I think I was talking to you. You're like, go to my guy.
Jews have like mad holidays.
Yeah. Every Saturday's a holiday. So I went to your guy. Like, he's crazy. Like, he was good. Like, but it takes forever.
Yeah.
I mean, because he takes.
If you're not a
forever.
regular and you don't have an appointment, it takes forever.
He takes forever per person.
Yeah. Like me, like I'll hit him
I mean,
up.
once I got in the chair, it was great because he was like so detailed.
Yeah.
But like they just left it like it's like bullshit. Cut your hair and talk pelota.
Yeah. I've been
Yankees,
going,
those Yankees.
Every Dominican, either Yankees or Red Sox. You know what I mean? Like every Dominican fucking barbershop is like that. I've been going to the same.
Red Sox fans too?
Yeah.
No
Dominicans
Mets?
are mad big on fucking Red Sox.
No Mets?
Less, much less. Rarely. I've been going to the same barbershop since high school, and I've had two barbers. One like stopped cutting hair, and then his brother started like cutting hair like at that same barbershop, and he learned from his brother, and then that dude like bought out like the owner and became like the part owner of the barbershop.
Okay.
And I've been cutting my hair. I started with the brother like the initially, and then started with the other brother that bought out.
That's
bought out
kind
the
of
owner.
how it happened with my guy. My
Yeah.
guy, like, he left and started his own thing, you know?
Yeah. So I did that and been going to him since fucking high school. Guys are weird like that. We're like fucking loyal to like our barbers.
I'm very loyal
Shit.
to my barber.
Yeah. It's like always like that one guy where meanwhile girls could go to like any salon and
They
like,
can, right?
like a handful of salons. Like my wife at least like she'll be like, I can't go, I don't like that salon, but I like this salon now, and I'll take any girl at that salon or whatever, you know?
That is crazy.
Man.
Yeah, no, I just go to my guy. Like, I left him for like a year, like 6 months to 8 months, because when I moved to Forest Hills, it was kind of far, because he's in like the Flushing Whitestone border. It's more Whitestone, and right up the block from Holy Cross,
Okay.
and it's kind of far from me, you know.
Yeah.
You know, so I was like, it's kind of annoying. So I tried to go to some barber in Forest Hills, and I dealt with him for like 6 months, even though I knew he wasn't great. But I was like, then one day I was back with my cousin, like just hanging out, and he was like, yeah, I'm going to Steve's to get a haircut. I was like, yeah, I guess I'll get a haircut at Steve. I went, and I was like, I forgot how good he was, you know what I mean? Like, I was like, damn, no wonder like I was loyal to you, you know, you're dope.
Sure.
And he was like, who the fuck cut your hair now? You fucked it up. I was like, I know. I'm the same. So I never went back. I just went. That was like I went back to him that day, and like I never stopped going again.
Nice.
Yeah.
I remember that time your hair was like tore up, kind of. No, I'm joking.
Yeah, it's hard to find, like, you know, and I just like to, like, I like to, like, just to sit down in the chair and not say anything. Like, you didn't know what to do, you know?
Exactly. Yeah.
Although today, this time I got a buzz cut. I don't know if you noticed. I got a buzz cut.
Yeah.
Whoa, I just put
Kinda
sand
low.
all over myself. Yeah, I usually, you know, don't have it this short. I usually have my hair more grown out. But
That's what I like about my barber. I fucking, like, I text them the day that I want to go, and I'm like, you know, I want to go like around 1, you know, what do you have available? He's like, oh, come at like 2:30 or something like that. I go like literally, he says 2:30, it really means 3, so I know his like lingo already, you know what I mean? So I show up like at 2:45 type of thing, and like I walk in, and you know, I wait like 5 minutes, and then the dude that he's cutting, like I'm next, like I know I'm next, you know what I mean? And then I go into the chair, cuts my hair within a half hour, 45 minutes, he knows like what I get. I don't have to bullshit.
that's great.
It's pretty dope. Yeah.
Yeah, my
convenient.
guy doesn't take appointments. First come, first serve.
Yeah. Damn. That sucks. That sucks, and it's good too if you're
No,
one of the first.
Yeah.
This was a pretty good Pablo Antonio's day of fun, huh?
It was, yeah.
The beach.
What's up, folks? Tony here. I hope you're enjoying the Spun Today podcast as much as I enjoy producing it for you. Here are a few ways you can help support the show. You can support the Spun Today podcast financially by going to spuntoday.com/support. There you will find a couple different ways that you can do just that, some of which will actually not even cost you a dime, such as using my Amazon affiliate link. When you go to spuntoday.com/support, you'll see my affiliate link to Amazon. Click on it and it will take you to Amazon's website, where you can do your shopping like normal. This will not cost you anything extra, but Amazon will pay me for driving traffic to their website. If you'd like to support the podcast more directly, you can do so by becoming a patron at spuntoday.com/support. You'll also find my Patreon link. This is where creators such as myself can be paid directly by patrons like you. You can either make a one-time donation or schedule recurring donations if you so choose. There are also different tiers of support, and depending on which you decide to go with, you'll also receive some perks in return, such as early access to content, free digital copies of my books, free bookmarks, etc. That is, again, by supporting via my Patreon link, available at spuntoday.com/support. Similar to Patreon, at that same location, you'll also find my Ko-fi link as well as my Buy Me a Coffee link. They work very similar to Patreon and are different ways that you can help support the show financially. And last but certainly not least, you have the good old-fashioned PayPal donation button. Any which way that you choose to support is greatly appreciated. It all helps me do more of what I love, which is writing and podcasting. Again, go to spuntoday.com/support. You can also support the Spun Today podcast by rating and reviewing the show wherever it is that you're listening to this episode. I'd really appreciate it because it really does help. Also, follow me on all socials. At Spun Today on X, formerly known as Twitter, at Spun Today on Instagram, and at Spun Today on YouTube, where you'll not only find full-length episodes of the podcast, but also chopped up clips and additional content. And of course, you can follow the Facebook page at facebook.com/Spun Today. Another way you can help support the Spun Today podcast and also upgrade that stale wardrobe of yours is by going to spuntoday.com/support and clicking on the banner for Stitch Fix. Once you do, you'll enjoy a $25 discount to your first purchase. And the way Stitch Fix works is pretty cool. I use it and I've never been disappointed. You'll set up a profile, you'll put in all the sizes for your clothes, as well as all the different brands and types of clothes that you like to wear. It's really simple and intuitive to set up. They'll show you pictures and pretty much give you a thumbs up or thumbs down option on if you would wear something or not. And you get to select all the brands that you already are used to wearing. With this information, there are thousands of passionate, trend-setting stylists who will curate a Stitch Fix box for you. They'll send you 5 items that you get to preview before they mail it to you, and you'll get to select based on the image if you like it or not. If not, they'll replace it with something else, and if so, they'll mail it to you absolutely for free. You can try everything on, and you have a few days to send everything back or keep the stuff that you want to keep. Then you can use that $25 credit that I mentioned towards your purchase of those items. Again, to freshen up your wardrobe and also support the Spun Today podcast, go to spuntoday.com/support and click on my affiliate link banner for Stitch Fix and enjoy your $25 credit. Do you want to start your own podcast? Have a great show idea that you want to get out into the masses but don't know quite how to get it from your head out into the world? Well, here's how. Use the podcast host Libsyn. That's who I use to bring the Spun Today podcast to you. And now you can use them the same way. Using the promo code SPUN, S-P-U-N, you can open up your Libsyn account today and get 2 months of free podcast hosting. Here's how it works. Once you record your show, you upload it to your Libsyn account, where you can fill in your episode notes, upload your podcast art, and schedule when you want your episodes to release. Once you do that, Libsyn will take care of the rest. They'll distribute your show to Spotify, Apple Podcasts, YouTube, and all the other podcatchers that you choose, instantaneously and seamlessly. Again, go to Libsyn.com and use the promo code SPUN, S-P-U-N, to get 2 months free. Or use the affiliate link that's in the episode notes. Again, that's Libsyn.com, promo code SPUN. Take that great podcast idea from out of your head and put it out into the world. And as always, folks, substitute the mysticism with hard work and start taking steps in the general direction of your dreams. Thanks for listening. I love you, Aiden.
I love you, Daddy.
I love you, Grayson.
I love you, Daddy.